Scott, in the room talking with players, there almost seemed to be an apologetic tone from them about what the product, I guess, they put out tonight. Just your thoughts on the game.
Yeah, I mean, we got the first goal, and then we kind of disrespected our opponent. We kind of became a little bit of pond hockey and trying to be cute, trying to make these fancy plays, and a young team like that, they played last night, and instead of keeping the hammer down and staying after them, we just stopped playing. We didn't have the intensity, we didn't have the sort of the drive that we should have followed up with for the rest of that game.
Obviously, missing the playoffs was going to sting regardless, but does the way this season ended with 4 straight losses in some of the games, does that maybe stay with guys even more?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, is it something that's going to stick with guys, and do you hope maybe that can be used as fuel kind of coming into next season?
I mean, you evaluate the 82 games, you're not evaluating the last 4, and there was, we felt like we were so close. We felt we were going to get in, and everybody had the belief that it was going to happen. And when it doesn't, it was just like I said, it was a gut punch. And when you're reviewing the season, you're reviewing them all, not just what just happened here the last 4.
The last 2 games, sellouts. The fans give you guys a standing O at the end. When you look and you see them do that, kind of what thoughts are going through your head?
Yeah, you're disappointed that you weren't better and, you didn't win those games. The other thing for me is that they're not all getting ready for the whiteout. And that's the big thing, is that I know how much this city and this province loves playoff time. And that's the hard part, is that, you've disappointed them that they can't get dressed up, they can't get crazy, and can't have the street parties. And so that's the hard part, and so, we're not going to have hockey here until September next year again. So, yeah, it's just it's a letdown. Just feel like we let them down, and not these last 2 games. Obviously, you don't make the playoffs. There's 82 games that you have to look at and find out the reasons why.
Dylan DeMello was very critical of himself and the team's play, and it seemed pissed off at what you didn't accomplish tonight. What's the importance of that, of not being accepting of that? I know you didn't get the results you wanted out there, but not being accepting of it.
Well, I think that, it is a carryover of not making the playoffs, and where we were for the first 30 games cost us. Where we were at game 50 cost us. We made a great run for the last 29 games, or 26 games. And, that doesn't work in the NHL. It doesn't work in our division, for sure. And it doesn't work in the NHL. You got to be, you're not going to be perfect for 82. And however, everybody should be pissed off, not just about tonight, pissed off that we didn't make the playoffs. And that's what we're in this business for, is to get in the playoffs, to challenge to win the Stanley Cup. And the hardest part is getting that ticket to get in, and it's a grind. It's it's over an 8-month period, and you got to put the work in. You got to put it in the summer. You got to go. Obviously, the points in October, the points in December are just as important as the ones we were trying to get 2 weeks ago. And that's where all the frustration, the anger, kind of the sort of the meltdown that maybe happened here at the end, is coming from that. We let ourselves down, and we didn't get the job done.
You touched on it at the top end of that answer, but the stark difference in the result in the last 4 games between the run you had been on post-Olympics, what does that say about how high an operating level you have to be at to succeed in the NHL? And
I know you guys, I'm not being disrespectful to the 4 teams we just played and the games that we played in, and we weren't great. We're missing a lot of pieces. These last 3 games, we're missing a lot of pieces, so, and we're given, and the great part was that some kids got a great opportunity to play in, against some real good hockey players, good hockey teams. They got a chance. Guys that got opportunities to, to be here or whatever, but we're missing some key people here for the last 4 games. These guys were all playing hurt. They were all playing banged up, and when the sort of the Vegas thing became what it was, that's when, we kind of had to shut some people down there. They got some serious things that they got to get looked after.
Last one, Daniel. What's the hardest part for you personally to finish the season this way and miss the playoffs?
Yeah, it's, it's been a long time since I've where you knew when your last game was, because obviously you get in the playoffs, you don't know when that last game is, and that's the most frustrating part about it, is that tomorrow that you're done. And that's, in this business, it's a result-driven business, and I have to be better. Certainly, our team has to be better. Players have to be better. We all have to step up, and we didn't do it. And that's the part for me, is that I'm already questioning some of the things I'm going to do, and some of the things I want to do and change and whatever. And I got 4 months now here to kind of grind this out and find an answer. So it's just it's hard. I mean, it's hard to not play at this time of year and to be in the middle of all the fun. I'm going to have a tough time Saturday watching some of these games. I'll watch them, but it's hard to watch when you're not in the race. Thank you.